And the Fijians have done it. Oh man, how glad was I to see Fijian improved side this week. What I mean by improved is just not isolating as much. That was something we saw against the Welsh, where they were struggling to retain first phase ball. They were running away from their support. Very, very good at the breakdowns in this game against Australia. And man, how good was Kurevoli. Brought the kicking game into their game as well, which we know the Australians have liked to do. The box kicks, the up and unders. It worked for them because Australia was showing some, Australia was showing some weaknesses under the high ball at times. It was a close game, but Australia giving away penalties. And you just felt Fiji was in this game right from the start. Kurevoli, amazing at his kicking at posts. He was just so good at that. He didn't miss much. And then Fiji was caught a bit napping early in the game, where Mark Nawatakuwatsi, gave that quick throw into Kerevi. Kerevi with a beautiful overhead pass back to Mark Nawatakuwatsi, and he scores that first try. But it was really against the flow of play. But Australia getting that first try, catching the Fijians napping a bit there. But the Australians kept the Fijians in the game by conceding penalties. They had no answers to the rolling maul. They were, the Fijians were so good at the breakdown. They slowed the game down a bit and played a much more structured game. And that's what I loved about these guys. It almost felt to me like this team that we saw play, this Fijian team, can now compete in test match rugby against any team in the world. They kind of just, stepped a little bit further away from that kind of sevens too loose type play, slowed it down a bit, and played some good structured rugby. Well, it's not obviously what everyone wants to see. You like to see the running type game. But in these type of games, that's what you want to start seeing from the Fijians. They want to start winning games. They said this before this game against Australia. They want to start being serious. They want to start becoming serious contenders, and that is definitely what they're doing. And then just before halftime, that up and under, and the ball just bouncing correctly for Tuasova, and the ongoing pressure on Australia, it breaks through and they score their try. And then in the 66 minutes, Lomani also goes through, and you think, look, and I thought, look, man, the Fijians has got to win this. It's 22-8. 66 minutes into the game. But then Australia hits back. Vunivalu with a brilliant try, kind of cutting right through the middle of players and scoring a great try. Ben Donaldson converts, and Australia's women's striking distance at 15-22. Don't let this one go again, because they've deserved it. They were the better team on the field. And you saw a lot of mistakes come in from this younger Australian side. The up and under type kicking was confusing them a lot. Sometimes Carter Gordon thinking he should go for the ball in the one case, but not going for it. Confusion between players under the high ball, and you could see some inexperience from Australia really coming through in this game, and Fiji did expose that. And then in the 82nd minute, Fiji has won the game. They get that last penalty, and if they could put this kick through, they would have taken Australia out of a bonus point, and it would have been very important for their current situation in their pool. But unfortunately, they couldn't convert the kick. They missed the kick, and Australia do lose this game with a bonus point, so they're very much still in contention. Generally, Australia was okay. Not the best performance from Australia. You can definitely see some of the inexperience coming in. Very, very poor in their Moldy. Eddie Jones has got a lot to work on, but I'm sure they're going to come back stronger for that last game, and that's going to be an interesting one now between Wales and Australia. I think for Fiji, it looks like this team keeps growing. So guys, we can see that Fiji actually didn't have more territory in that full game versus Australia. Australia had 55%, where Fiji had 45%, but it was very close. They were playing in each other's halves right through the game. From a possession point of view, that's the difference, is the Fijians had more of the ball. They held on to more of the ball, and even though they did a lot of kicking, at times when they had the ball, they played those phases, they were disciplined. They didn't try and just run the ball and play it too loose. This looked like a team that can compete with any of the top sides in the world right now, if they can keep playing like this. They're definitely showing really, really good signs of growth in this game. Then if we looked at attack, you see meters carried. The Fijians just a little bit more than Australia. We know Australia is also a running type team. See, runs 96 versus 88. Very close, all these statistics. Carries over the gain line is 57 versus 50. Passes 110 to 100. It's a very, very even match when you look at statistics-wise how even it was. Defenders beaten 20 versus 23. Offload similar, 7-6. So Mauls won. You could see Australia in the entire game. Quite a few more mauls won than what Fiji did. And that shows you that even from a Fiji point of view, their mauls still lacking a bit in their defense, in their maul defense. Rucks won, you see very similar, and that means, and you see Fiji was right up there with their Rucks won. They were very competitive at the breakdown. Kicking, Fiji also matching Australia, and that's what I loved when they came into this game. They said, we're also going to play a kicking game and we'll take you on with the aerial battle, and I think they won that because Australia was actually very poor under the high ball in today's game. Meters from kicks also very similar, 936 to 911. And yeah, kicks into touch, we see there Fiji a bit more. Fiji going for those lineouts, and they were pretty good, I must say. From a set piece point of view, we can see there scrums. Australia was a better team when it came to scrums, 4 out of 5, but they had less scrums. Fiji had a lot of scrums, 63% on their scrums, but it's because they opt for the scrums so many times. Lineouts, we can see 16 out of 16 for Australia. They were good at the lineouts. And for Fiji, 17 out of 23. But how much more? The thing is, guys, it's all about how much more set pieces can you create? How much more opportunities can you create? Obviously, that will skew the stat a bit. But having more scrums at the end of the day and having more lineouts creates more opportunities to score points, if it's penalties or if it's tries. Lineout steals, we see even there, Australia had more lineout steals. But, you know, the one thing that Australian team struggles, and we always come back to that, guys, is discipline. So when you look at discipline there, you can see 18 versus 7. You know, just too much penalties conceded by Australia. You can't win a game without, you know, discipline. And it's something that Australian rugby's struggled with for years and years. Tackles made, you see the Fijians actually making more tackles than the Australians in this game. So it's not like the Australians didn't bring it to the Fijians. The Fijians just overall played actually a more disciplined game and used their kicking very well, was outstanding at their box kicking, and just overall playing a very clever game in this game against Australia. And they're showing a big will that these guys want to go through to the quarterfinals. Tackles missed, similar, 23 to 20. Tackle success rate, we see Fiji a bit higher than Australia, 66% versus 78%. We see turnovers won in own half, very similar, 3 to 5. Turnovers won in the opposition half, also 10 to 9. But those turnovers won, guys, is the big thing there. You see 11 versus 4. It's just, that is the big difference, you know, being really competitive at the breakdown. That's how you win games. Playing the clever kicking game. In tight games like this, that is what makes the difference. And well done to the Fijians. Let's see what happened in the pool. Let's see what this says to us now, what's happening in the pools. So that means Pool C is blown right open. We've got Wales played 2 with 10 points there because they won that game, their last game. Fiji now with 6 points, right up there with Australia. But we see getting the bonus points as well. So now it's going to be tight between these two teams, Fiji and Australia. And then obviously the rest being Georgia and Portugal. I mean, Portugal showed some signs of greatness in between the game with Wales, but Wales just too strong at the end of the day. But there was times where the Portuguese showed some good strength in their game, running with the ball very well, and they were at moments looking dangerous. But Wales experienced too much. You know, and you've got Georgia there still. That's Georgia's a very competitive upfront pack. So it comes down to how will Fiji beat these teams, and I think Fiji, with their style of rugby, is going to run in a lot of tries, and that might make the difference at the end of the day. Because I think we're going to have Australia come back playing against Wales. That's going to now be hurting, and you know, just maybe Australia beats Wales, and we've got this pool wide open, and it comes down to bonus point and score, the plus minus kind of score aggregates to decide who's going through in this pool. On the other side, I gotta say, if Australia can't work at some things in their games, their discipline, and obviously also just their commitment to breakdowns, defense on rolling mauls, they could even lose to Wales. The Wales in Australia game is going to be a cracker of a match, because I think it's going to be a very close match, and it's Wales is very capable of beating Australia. And I think if they beat Australia, that means Australia is out of the World Cup, and they will be the first kind of upset team to fall out of this World Cup, and Fiji might get their way through. Something tells me Fiji's on their way to get into a quarterfinal this year in the World Cup. This team has really, really improved and looked so good against Australia today. Well, guys, I'm really, really happy for Fiji. I'm so glad you could see the coaching staff really worked at their general discipline, their commitment to the rucks, just slowing the game down, their kicking type game, just playing a little bit more disciplined. And this is all that Fiji needed. From here, this team can really just grow. And if they keep doing what they did against the Australians today, obviously we will want to see them run the ball more against Georgia and Portugal. And I think they are. They're going to punish those teams. And I think at the end of the day, when you stand away, you have to say that Fiji's got a great chance now of getting into that quarterfinal. I really have to feel that Fiji's got a shot at it. Well, guys, it's all going to come down to what Australia and Fiji does in their last games in these pool matches and how far they win. But yeah, I'm sure Eddie Jones will be fuming after losing that one versus Fiji. He wanted to go, gamble with not putting enough experience in this team. You again can see Carter Gordon, and if he had someone like a Quade Cooper there, that might have just been the difference with that experience coming in, and it might cost him dearly in this World Cup, and he might fall out of the pool stages. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed my video, hit the subscribe button below. I appreciate every one of you that still watch my videos, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.